Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out important news. And today's news is big. Here discusses Claude Leduc, CEO of Ortho Regenerative Technologies, trades in Canada under ORTH, for our friends in the US under ORTIF. For those who are new to the story, you're going to love this one. We can all relate to it. Why? Have you ever torn a muscle, a rotator cuff, your meniscus, cartilage? How about someone you know? Or probably for most of us, one of our favorite athletes gets injured during a game. Here's what you need to know about the industry in ortho. We all think that the standard care and repair is pretty standard by now because it's been happening for so long. But that's anything but the truth because of massive problems with failed surgeries. Listen to these numbers. For rotator cuffs, failure rates can be 20 to 95%. For meniscus, 20 to 40%. For cartilage, 15 to 35%. Those are massive failure rates. How ortho solves that problem in layman's terms, and Claude will talk about it, is they use a proprietary restore technology platform that dramatically improves the success rate of orthopedic and sports medicine surgeries. As far as market opportunities go, it's huge in terms of soft tissue repair. There's a $5 billion market opportunity there. Rotator cuff tears alone are $600 million plus. Meniscus, $1 billion. Cartilage, another $1 billion. And here, today's press release, Ortho announces U.S. clinical hold lifted by the FDA and clearance to proceed with U.S. clinical trials. Claude, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you very much, George. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Well, great to have you back because you've kind of been waiting for this since August. But before we get into the press release, for people to understand really the magnitude of it, let's first talk about, Claude, how big of a problem are you solving? How big is the opportunity? Because a lot of us just take this market for granted.
Yes. Well, I think, George, you already gave a good description of the market itself. And what I would like to add is mainly that, failure rate, such high failure rates, with all those soft tissue related conditions, it's an embarrassment for the physician, the orthopedic surgeon. It's an embarrassment for the patient, because, of course, he had surgery and then he needs to go back to surgery. And then the payer, of course, is embarrassed because a surgery like that would cost anywhere between $15,000 to $35,000. So that is driving a need for better solutions. And so the orthopedic surgeons have already looked at using the human body's own growth factors to try to improve those results. So those growth factors are present in a variety of orthobiologics. And the one that we use is called PRP, or platelet-rich plasma. And so that is something
And by the way, for those of us who are not experts in, and I'm going to read this, proprietary muco-adhesive chitosan-based biopolymer matrix, explain to us in layman's terms, which I know you're going to do, as to what you're doing to help solve this problem.
Yes. But so, the growth factors, the goal here is that our product, was designated by the FDA as a drug and combination with a biologic, which is the PRP that I was just describing. So both the patient's own growth factors and the drug that we use are combined together, and then it becomes a sticky implant. So the drug has various chemical actions on the patient's blood cells, if you want, and will help to regenerate tissue much faster and for a longer time than if you would just use PRP alone and inject it on the site of surgery. Okay?
Which is the standard right now, right, Claude?
Which is the standard of care is surgery alone. So that's why there are so many failure rate. And then they try to do PRP alone, but PRP is like water. It leaks out of the site, the targeted site. And when you combine it with our technology, it's sticky. And it's very unique because it's the only natural polymer that has a positively charged configuration, and the human soft tissues are negatively charged. So that makes it adhesive at the site where you want it to work. So for example, PRP would be degraded within 24 hours, and our stuff would be there. Our drug combination product will stay there for weeks. So it gives
the
a lot
idea
more.
is for the repair to start, for the repair to take, it gives it time for the repair to take place.
Yes, yes, and so it is an adjunct to standard of care surgery. So the surgeon, if you permit me, George, let me show just a picture.
Yeah,
from
actually,
my,
let me give you share screen ability
yes,
here.
yes, so that most person that are not familiar with it, they will, it's much easier for them to see what it is. And so let me just go here, and pictures, words, 1,000 words. So
Yeah.
I just want to show that the product, this is the configuration of the molecule. That's our drug. It's a lyophilized drug, and the PRP is the fraction of the blood. We spin the patient blood for 12 minutes. It separates the different type of cells in different layers, and the middle layer is the PRP part. So rich in platelets. Platelets are secreting growth, granules and growth factors. So we just throw this PRP in our bottle. We shake for 20 seconds. Then it's
and that's right there in the operating room. So if you're operating on my rotator cuff, it happens right there, right?
Yes, exactly. We do that at the same time that the surgery, standard of care surgery is ongoing. So the product, when the surgery is finished, completed, the technology is ready to be delivered in situ. So we deliver it arthroscopically, and here it looks like it's not arthroscopy, just for the purpose of showing, but we deliver it under and over the surgically repaired site. And then it sticks there for a long time. And again, thus, you have your growth factors that are working for a long time. So that's the whole deal that is completely different. And this is why the orthopedic community is so excited with our technology.
And by the way, Claude, this isn't just theory or a good idea. In preclinical studies, Ortho-R resulted in enhanced and sustained biologic activity that has shown faster and better tissue repair. So this isn't just theory that you're going to try out on George's shoulder one day.
Yes.
You've had talk to us about those preclinical studies and what you did there.
Yes. So George, the FDA is requiring to do animal studies to show the efficacy of your technology before, and the safety and efficacy of your technology before giving it to human. So we use sheep as large animal models that are mimicking the human anatomy. And what we showed in I don't want to describe and lose too much time on this. Maybe it's a bit boring for the investor, but here, if you do only surgery, the end result is a scar-rich tissue compared to a normal tissue that you see on the left here. So that scar-rich tissue is not biologically or mechanically viable. So that's where it snaps again over time. A high percentage of those tendons would tear again.
Yeah, you're almost hoping for it to work there, right? It's all disorganized. Yes. You're hoping that it.
Yes. No. Exactly. And when you adjunct, when you combine our technology with standard of care surgery, and here on the right, you can see that the tissue is much more organized and very
unbelievable,
like a normal tissue. And the same for the histology. Histology is maybe complicated for someone that is not, familiar in our field, but that's a normal tissue. You need to have some red. Red is the witness of the good molecules that needs to be there. When you do normal surgery, just standard of care surgery, you don't have much red. The tissue is disorganized. And then when you combine the technology, you have the red staining. And so again, showing a much better viable tissue than standard of care surgery.
I know it almost sounds funny or layman-ish, but I get a vision of Terminator when that one Terminator, the advanced one, would break
Yes.
apart, and then it would all come together again in an organized fashion. Essentially, that's what you're doing. You're not just clomping on top of each other and hoping it'll stick. You're actually bringing it together, and it's organizing better in order to really repair the right way.
Yes, and maybe I should have said that at the beginning, but the big challenge is the human anatomy is very different for soft tissues. There's a lack of blood vessel. If you cut your skin, you bleed, and then we have a clot that is instantly growing, and then there is constant flow of blood to have to induce a cascade of repair events for your skin. But in soft tissues, there is a lack of blood vessels, very little blood vessels, so you don't have the support whenever you have a traumatic conditions, a tear or cartilage defect or whatever. So that's why we need to help the human body and bringing those growth factors that would be normally present in blood. And so that's why we need those implants to accelerate healing and to help, generate better tissue. So, yes. No, and here it's just and other results, in the sheet, but the conclusion of those studies, this study with 48 sheep was done by independent laboratory, which is GLP. It's good laboratory practice, so independent from the company, independent from the university, and it showed that we have a better and faster tissue repair, and all the elements into the sheep that were analyzed for histopathology to see if there were any issues with the drug or with the PRP. Everything was normal as it was to the control group that had no treatment. So as safe as control, if you want.
So let's talk about, now that we have a really good understanding of the problem,
yes,
your solution, how big is today's news? Because I'm going to take an excerpt here. The company is cleared to proceed with phase 1/2 U.S. clinical trials to evaluate the treatment, the efficacy and treatment in rotator cuff tear repair. How big is it to be advancing to this? And give us an idea of what that looks like in terms of what you're going to do and timing.
Yes, absolutely. Our drug biologic combination product is very unique. So it's a new category of treatment for tissue repair. Unlike some competitors that are using cells and other technology that are much more complicated to use and much more expensive. So that new category, we submitted the IND. And we have the clinical hold. So I just want to share it with the audience that the clinical hold is just justifiable from the FDA, because they look for, make sure that the product is safe, but not only the product, the preparation of the product into the operating room. So, we in the operating room, we spin the patient's blood, and then we harvest the PRP, then we mix it with our product. So the FDA said, make sure that when you prepare it, there will be no contamination. So they ask us to test all the samples for the phase 1/2 clinical trial to make sure that it is sterile and look, sterility, endotoxin content. And so we complied with that. And there was a few more tests that they asked to do with the product itself, just to, there were different tests for endotoxin as well as elemental impurity. And so they wanted us to compare those tests with what we already did, and we fully comply. That's what happened in the last month. And the testing company is based in the US. They are expert in testing, and they showed that the result that the FDA was asking with the different testing technique was equivalent to the result that we had in our own techniques, if you want. So here, just to say that we fully comply now. We have the green flag to start our US clinical trial. And I want to share with you, all the next step, if you wish. That's what I was
going to talk to. Actually, I was going to ask. So you're going to enroll about 80 humans now.
Yes.
To participate in this. So these are people, Claude, who have actual rotator cuff injuries.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And they're good. Are these going to be patients who it's the first time, or is this going to be patients who had a fail? Like, is it George who has a fresh injury to his fresh tear to his rotator cuff, or is it George that had a surgery already and it failed, and now what's that going to look like?
All patients will be first-time surgery for the rotator cuff tear. So, but there will be fresh ones that happen maybe within 4 or 5 months, and there will be chronic ones. For example, you have a tear and that you carry for 2 years, and you still have pain, and you never had surgery. So those will also be eligible, but the re-tear ones will not be eligible. So, the goal in a clinical trial like that is to maximize your chance of success, right? So you want to choose the slot of patients that are likely to give you different, versus the control. So we have chosen the length of tear is very well defined. If it's too small tear, it's easy to repair. So you need many more patients to show difference, with control. If it's too large, then you put your technology at risk of having the toughest ones.
Right. You got to find something in the middle.
So we have a range of 1.5 to 4 centimeter long tears. And then, the age is between 40 and 70. And all those parameters are the core of rotator cuff tears. So we have, the right selection of patients. And also we have, 10 incredible US centers, very prestigious ones. And so we're very excited, to start the study soon.
Yeah, that seems like a lot because you're getting about 75 patients, 25 in the control and 50 patients on the ortho side. And I thought, wow, 10 or 12 clinical sites.
Yes.
But that's good, I guess. In the long run, no one can question the validity of the results at the end of the day because they're spread across. So it sounds like you're probably going to have 5 to 7 patients per site. If everything goes well, Claude, because the one thing, devil's advocate, the one thing that small cap investors worry about is, okay, Georgecom Biotechnology sounds promising, but I can't wait for 5 years for the results. In this case, it's going to take close to that for the final, but you're not expecting shareholders just wait 5 years. If everything goes well, you should start being able to bring in potential partners, licensors. So let's talk about the business side right now. What the business side looks like.
Yes. In our field, in clinical stage companies, we have no revenues, we have no product on the market. The value is created with the achievement of your milestones. And, the value of your company is not always there as it should be. So we're very undervalued right now, at this stage, but we feel that over time, it will go, the value will increase over time when we achieve those milestones. So as a clinical stage company right now, we have the clearance from the FDA, that will show in the coming months. And so those milestones, just want to show you that we have 10 incredible US centers across the US, and with very prestigious ones that we will announce eventually, but we will have a constant flow of news, during that year, during the clinical trial, revealing the centers. And then, there are so many things that we need to do at the same time, but those are creating value achievements, so we're ready to, when we were waiting for IND, all the whole team was very busy to prepare the clinical trial. So we didn't wait and lose time, so all sites are ready to go. And so now, the coming month, what needs to be completed is institutional review board approval. And then, we will train the clinical site, how to deliver it and how to prepare the product. And then patient screening will start, early 2022, and enrollment will last 6 to 8 months. You mentioned, 10 centers, it's a lot for 78 patients. Yes, but what keeps me awake and what keeps, shareholders awake is when your enrollment is too slow. So the more centers, the more we are, managing that. And then, first 3 patients will be evaluated for safety. So the first 3 ones will not be randomized and will be, ORTHO-R patient that the FDA required. And so we need 48 hours between those 3 patients, just for safety reason. Yeah.
And Claude, so to save people time, instead of going through the exact, now I want to talk, if you don't mind, about the business side. If all goes well, you said you'll be creating value. You're right. You won't be creating revenues and profits yet, but you'll be building value. How will shareholders see the value? Because the way I see it is you're going to have Georgecom Biotech or some big company, or explain to us, if someone's going to come in and say, we've seen your results, they look very, very promising, we want to become a partner or a licensor or something like that. Explain the business side if you can. So don't worry about the trials themselves now. Just kind of give everyone give us all an indication at home of
Yes.
how the business side looks as you succeed in each of these phases.
Yes. Every time I post my press releases on my LinkedIn, I see who's looking at them. I see which company is watching them. So, many big orthopedic and pharma companies are watching us, and always the same coming back. My point here is that, we already, for strategic development licensing, we have already started to talk, with some players.
Right.
And my point here is that, the licensing will come when it is ready to be done. Too early, you don't have much in it, right? And a bit later, you have more. So if you're too early and there is not much, then it could be questionable. But strategically, it can be early and worth a lot of value, of course. And my point here is that we're talking actually to potential partners. We have collaboration with one of the big orthopedic company. And then we will eventually talk about it, and I cannot say when, but it's going to come. And then
so that's great. And
that's
what could that look like? Would they make an investment of the company, or would they sign some kind of LOI or MOU? Like, what is that you're looking for in terms of, because I'm glad you're not going to be going to the market on your own. It looks like you're going to be partnering with bigger companies, or you're going to focus on the science and the technology and let them focus on the business and the market side, right?
Yes. We're not a marketing company. We're a scientific developing technology company. And so this is a product that will be used worldwide, high volume and high revenue, stream. So you need a global partner. And so we will definitely license the technology. It can be licensed to multiple partners because all the companies, orthopedic companies, have PRP system, different ones. So we can have licenses with each one of them. Or maybe one of them would say, I don't want my competitor to be using your technology. We want
to
pay
dearly for that.
They pay dearly for that, exactly. So that's why you need to be patient, and you need to, play your cards well, and tease interest first, and then we'll see what's come after that. And parallelly to that, there are opportunities to bring new technologies that are complementary with what we do, and so we can increase value with new technology that we bring in, and but we are looking to all opportunities to increase value over time. Yeah, but we need to be focused on what we need to deliver.
Claude, as we go into the end of the year here, is this the Christmas present, the holiday gift that your long and loyal shareholders, patient, loyal, and believing shareholders have been waiting for? And how happy should they be? How happy are you with having achieved this milestone today?
Well, the message I would give them is it's an incredible opportunity for them. We hope for patient money, and on-patient money can play also, because there will be many milestones that can bring liquidity as we go. But the patients ones that want to go for the home run, I think they are well deserved. It's a new category of tissue regenerative product in the orthopedic and also other fields. We are developing the meniscus indication right now. We're starting an animal study on that. We have a grant for tissue repair in wound healing and other fields. So this is a company that does not have only one token to play. It's a platform, and with the actual product, we have multiple indications. And so the point is that if you're patient and you stick to the company, you try to understand its evolution, then you will appreciate it over time. And if you're impatient, call me. And we're always pleased to talk to investors, to give them some explain to them what we're doing, and give them some insight on the technology itself, and voila.
Finally, is it safe to say, given the fact that you're already having discussions for potential potential agreements, I'll leave it at that. Is it safe to say that your industry knows about both your company and the technology? And so the word has already gotten out there, because I think that's important, because it's not just Georgetown Bio and they're trying something. It seems like you've caught some good attention in the industry, correct? And that's a good sign.
That's correct, George. And let me say something. Each one of the, or most of the orthopedic companies have a PRP system, and they're annoyed because they know that their dumb PRP is degraded within 24 to 48 hours when they inject it. And we have a video from an orthopedic surgeon in a Hawaii orthopedic meeting saying we would need a technology that would keep the PRP in place so that the biologic activity would be increased in time. And this is exactly what we have developed, So we know that the clear market need is there, and we have that solution. So that's why we feel that we are generating already, and will generating even more traction with all those companies that do have PRP systems.
Well, in your words from the press release, there is a clear and significant unmet medical need to improve the success rate of orthopedic and sports medicine soft tissue surgeries. It sounds like you guys are really gonna change things up there and provide that solution. Today's milestone is big. Congratulations on that, Claude. Can't wait to have you back so that we can discuss. We don't have to wait for the end of clinical trials, or it'd be good to come back and have discussions along the way. And I think we're going to see you a lot in Q1, right?
Absolutely. It will be a nice ride that we'll have, in the coming year. Yes, multiple milestones.
Well, Claude, congratulations to you and your team. Can't wait to have you back, my friend.
Thank you very much, George. Always a pleasure.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast. And by the way, if you're listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, or your favorite podcast platform, this is one of those few interviews that you should find on Agoracom and or YouTube, because you want to see the visuals that Claude put up, because they're really that powerful. But to do your due diligence, a couple of ways to do that. First, get to the company's profile on Agoracom, because there is a lot going on here. There are a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of science. We've got a nice layman's explanation broken down for you to give you a good 1,000-foot view. And then you can link over the company's website to do your deeper dive due diligence. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time.
Thank you.
Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel and never missing another great Agoracom small cap video.